Come on. There's got to be an easier way, but there is. Keep watching and I'll show you how. Oh, g'day there guys, welcome to another episode. Just a quick one, this one. Bit of maintenance while we're at home. Getting ready to go away, hopefully next weekend if we don't get any rain and cyclones coming down the coast at us. So I've got plans to be getting away next weekend. But for now we're in the driveway, just doing a bit of maintenance on the Jayco Starcraft. And one thing I've read up on lately is filling your water tanks, where a lot of people have trouble filling them once you put your hose in there and all the air's not getting out your breather, which is in there. And the breathers get blocked full of water and all your air and water ends up bubbling back up out of there, and it can take forever to fill your water tank. So this what I've been reading up on and researching is underneath your Caravan on your water tank, you've got the cap there, which you can just unscrew that, which I'll do that now. And I'd already drained the water tanks last time we got home in preparation for filling this up. And if you look at that, there's probably still a little bit of Fraser Island in there. Yep, there you go. I'll cable tie that up out of the way. And all I'm going to do to make it a lot easier and quicker to fill the water tanks is put a 1/2 inch ball valve on there. That fella there. A 1/2 inch to 3/4 nipple, and then a hose fitting on the end, so you can just clip your hose straight on. And it should fill a lot quicker using that main filler tube, the pipe, as a breather. So I know it works well on the ute, and then I always bottom fill the water tank in the ute. So we'll get this on. It should only take about 5 minutes. Just need to be very careful screwing that fella on, brass fitting to a poly fitting. You don't want to cross thread it, because that'll cause you big dramas if you do cross thread. So you need to be very careful. Get that fella screwed on straight. Bit of thread tape and a shifting spanner. Metric shifting spanner, imperial shifting spanner, doesn't matter. But we'll get this on, show you how we go. Okay, we've got all the bits laying under the van in the shade, which with how hot it is today, that's a good thing. Sunny's off so we can actually see what we're doing. Now, it has got a rubber washer on there, so probably don't need thread tape, but being an ex-plumber, sort of, trades assistant, I suppose you'd call me, after me chippy days, always use plenty of thread tape, just to be sure. You don't want to be somewhere out in the bush off-grid and you lose all your water because it wasn't sealed up right or something happened, and wishing you would have used a bit of 20 cents of thread tape instead of losing all your water. You don't want to put too much on there, because it probably promotes the risk of cross threading. So this is the critical step now. I'm going to screw that on, but make sure it goes on nice and square. And if you cross thread it, or even suspect that it's cross threading, stop, take it off before you go too far. Now that's just starting to firm up. You don't want to over tighten it, but I don't want that handle down there where a stick or something may get it, because that's in the off position where it's going to be for travel. So I'll go another 1/4 turn there, and that should be plenty tight enough, and that puts your handle up the top out of the harm's way of everything hitting it, and then that's off. So once you fill her up, that's in the off position. There shouldn't be anything. Once I cable tie that up, that shouldn't vibrate around and open up. If in doubt, you could put another nipple in there and put that cap back on, and that's gonna just safeguard against losing your water out in the bush. But I think we'll be pretty right. A bit of thread tape on this brass nipple. So I tried to get some poly ones just to keep the weight down a little bit, but good old Bunnings didn't have any. Seems to be the case every time I go there lately to get something. They're out of stock. Oh, sorry. I'll screw that one in there. And this is where the metric shifting spanner comes into play. Being careful not to over tighten it. Remember, we're not running super high pressures here, we're only using it as a fill point, so you don't want to be risking threading anything. Then you've just got your hose fitting. That'll go straight on there. No need for thread tape on there. You could even, and I probably will do, just thinking of it, get a 3/4 cap and just screw on there. And that's it. That's ready to plug your hose on and fill her up. That's all fairly solid. And you could also use that if you needed to transfer water between the ute or some other situation come up. You can always plug your hose onto there via the pump in the ute or another 12-volt pump, open her up, and you got all that access to that 80 litres of water. And because we've got the two 80-litre tanks, just duplicate the process on the back tank. Whoops. There is still a bit of water in that one. The camera's waterproof, but the microphone's not. I probably should have checked that first, shouldn't I? Anyway, we can work underwater. Same thing with your thread tape. Get that on there. And it's when you're rushing like this, because you've got water running down your arm, that the chance goes up of cross-threading, putting that valve on, that 1/2-inch ball valve. Don't rush it, just get it on there, nice and safe. Make sure your handle's going to be the right way, facing out. Now, get that on there nice and square. Still going to have water running down my arm. Because I've got that other drainage pipe there, may have to take the handle off of the valve. Make sure it's nice and square. I think we'll be right. We'll get a... Definitely don't want to be cross-threading. Once it strips that thread, you're buggered. It just means replacing the whole fitting assembly off the end of the water tank, and you don't really want to be doing that. But we're all good here. Now let's just start to firm up. Now that's the off position. I may, because once it goes up to there, that may interfere, but I can live with that. It's only that bit of foam that we can live with. That's going to stop it from opening anyway. Same thing, your nipple, bit of thread tape. Now that everything's wet. All this has probably taken 10 minutes all up, plus half an hour to run to Bunnings and get a few bits and pieces. But I think it'll save a lot of time when we come to fill up, and we'll try that out here very shortly. We'll make sure it works, because you don't want to be out there filling up somewhere and it doesn't work, but I can't see why it wouldn't. And this is the same theory, same way that I bottom fill the tank in the ute. Doesn't have to be over tight again. Using the Imperial shifting spanner this time. That's off. Screw your hose fitting on, and nothing's sticking down in the way that can get ripped off by a stick or something if we're off on a bush track, especially behind your wheel here. Stuff flies up, rocks and whatever. You don't want anything hitting that and ripping it off, but hopefully that's going to make life a lot easier. Righto. So this is how I used to fill it up. Got one of these U-Butte fillers, which works okay, nothing wrong with it. You can hear that water's already backing up the pipe, and if you have too much flow, it ends up bubbling up out of your filler pipe that's coming out the breather. But once the water tank fills up a bit, you end up with water everywhere bubbling up out of here. And it's starting there already, like that. So we're going to do away with that and hopefully bottom fill these tanks, and that's going to work a lot better. One thing I will do to make it work a bit better is just put a little valve like on the end of that, on the end of this, or any filler hose that we use, just to save kinking the hose all the time. So that should just click on there like that. Should be able to open that valve up and she should fill from the bottom. You can just hear that, that's full pressure in that hose too. So far so good. And I will, after a couple of days, once these tanks are full, just check that every couple of days, make sure there's no leaks there, make sure I've done my plumbing job right. But you can hear that now. That's just air gushing out of there, full pipe, out plus the breather. So it's still filling even with the breather blocked. So that's filling as fast as it can possibly fill, I reckon. Should be about 2 minutes, 3 minutes for 80 litres of water, and that'll be full. Oh, here she comes. That's getting full already. Yeah, look at that. That's full. Super quick. Now all you got to do is reach under here, turn your valve off. That stops the water flow into the tank, and you've got 100% full water tank. Full to the top. To get that full with one of these things is a nightmare, because it's in there, you walk away for 2 seconds, it flies out on the ground, spraying water everywhere. That's a much better idea. We'll still keep the other one, that's just for filling drinking water, keeping this thing. But that there has worked a treat. Yeah, I love me gadgets, and I also like to know with our water usage and being off grid how long we can actually get out of our 40 litre drinking water tank, which is filtered through the van, but we purely just use the 40 litre tank for drinking water, nothing else. So I want to make sure the water that goes into there is 100% potable and drinkable. So I've bought this little gadget. It's just an inline meter. When you fill in the van, it'll actually show you how many litres you're putting in. So we'll fill this back tank up after being away at Christmas time there for 10 or 12 days. See how much we actually used out of that 40 litre tank. I'd estimate around the 30 litres. So we'll see how we go. We'll fill her up. Well, there you go. 32 litres over our, I think we're away for 12 days over Christmas. So give you an idea, at least now we know how long we can get out of 40 litres of drinking water. Great little gadget, straight off Amazon or eBay, somewhere I found that. It's a gardenia. I think it was about 40 or 50 bucks. Happy days. There you have it, guys. I reckon, just keeping an eye on the timer on the camera, that probably filled in about 2 minutes, 80 litres of water, compared to maybe 5 minutes of mucking around with this thing. So I'm pretty happy with that for 10 minutes work. A couple of fittings, maybe $20 worth of fittings from Bunnings. That's going to work a treat. So hope you've got a bit of useful information out of this, and a bit of a how-to and a tip and trick to make your life a bit easier. And it goes a long way. Every little bit of information I can get, I try and put it into use somewhere. So hopefully you can do the same. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and to see more tips and tricks that are upcoming, and we'll see you somewhere on the next Brandyscape adventure, instead of parked on the driveway doing maintenance, but it's always got to happen. Stay safe.